Welcome to the Tish WNET studio here in Lincoln Center, heart of New York City. It is our pleasure to welcome someone who is recognizable just about everybody watching right now. He is John Edward, psychic, medium, the pride of Long Island. What part of the island?
Now Huntington.
You know, we were just talking about this before we got in there. By the way, you'll see how to find John now. We're talking about his online world, his digital world, compared to the world that you were in. When you broke into television nationally, you said you were about 30.
Yep.
Who found you and why? What did they see in you?
I actually was doing a book, and I loved radio. And the reason why I loved radio was because it was live, and people couldn't accuse me of being edited because it was live. So radio was my go-to for all sorts of media. And plus, it gave me anonymity. So people knew my name, they knew my voice, but I could walk around and nobody would stop me. So when I had my book come out, I said I was going to promote it on radio, and the publisher said, no, you have to go on television. And I'm an admitted control freak, and I was like, I don't do TV, I do radio. And they said, well, that's great. Radio's not going to sell your book. TV's going to sell that book, and if you don't go on TV, we're not going to publish it. So because I wanted to make sure that the producers of the TV shows were going to treat the subject matter with respect, I personally would call the shows and talk to the producers to see which ones would be friendly to the subject matter and treat it with, I didn't care if they were skeptical, but at least be respectful and not do like, gotcha journalism or try to put something together in a negative way. And I met two producers, and they said to me, would you let us put a TV show together for you? And I said, no, I'm not really interested in the show. They go, we think you could be a show. And I said, I think I could be a national call-in radio show. If you want to do that, we could do that. And they said, give me 6 months. And 6 months later, we're filming the pilot for Crossing Over.
Crossing Over is such a phenomenon. When did you realize you had a gift?
I was told at the age of 15. I come from a family that my mom's side of the family was very open to the subject matter. My dad was a New York City police officer and a career military guy, not open to the subject matter.
Not open.
Not even a little bit. Forbid me to be around it when my mom and grandmother and uncles would have psychics come to the house. My mom and dad split. I wound up moving into my grandmother's house, which is like the hub of paranormal activity. And I had adopted his philosophy, but they had a woman come to the house. Her name was Lydia Clark, and she did a reading for me that changed the course of my life.
How?
She told me stuff that there's no way that she possibly could have known. She was the one who said to me, she goes, you have this ability. I'm here today to put you on your path. I don't normally do house parties, so like, I came here today because I wanted to. She had previously read my mom, and she picked up, I guess, on my abilities through my mom, and then said she would come to the house. And she said to my mom, the one caveat was she had to meet me. So my mom came home and said, this woman's gonna come to the house. Like, she doesn't do that, but she wants to meet you. And I was like, what? Like, I felt like bait, like I was the bait. But I was a sophomore in high school, smart-ass sophomore in high school. Very sarcastic, and I had adopted my dad's philosophy. So I was the person who that day, I think she read like 17 people, and every one of the people that was coming out of the room, I was literally pulling apart their reading or trying to, and I had a hard time. So I went, and I was.
It changed your life.
It changed my life.
What did she tell you about you?
Well, the first part she told me was that I had like white and gold energies, like waiting to kind of like work with me, and I was going to change the way the world looked at her subject matter, that I was going to lecture around the world. I was going to be a published author in her field. And I was 15. So,
you think, what?
No, I jokingly say she could have said she landed her spaceship in my grandma's backyard and she was going to take me for a spin. And then she was very accurate with like little things that were happening in high school, like relationship dynamics that were not general, outcomes that were not general. And I always say that it didn't feel, wow, that was cool. It felt violated. Like, I didn't like it. So, like, I'm very, very clear. So I tell people that when I had the reading, I didn't go, oh, I'm psychic. I went, whoa, I don't like this. This woman entered in my space. It feels like when your house is broken into, somebody else is in your house and it's a little creepy. So I wanted to know how that could never happen again. Like putting on like a security alarm in your house. And I went to the local public library, and I was embarrassed to check out the books. They were all under the occult section back then.
Occult.
It was 1985.
Right.
No new age. It was like all occult. So the word was intimidating for me. And I sat on the floor because I wouldn't check the books out. And I read every book that they had. And that was the moment that I recognized, wait a second. So like this common sense thing that I thought I had is not common sense. Like I might be getting a little extra help here. And then I started developing. And that meant I was looking at astrology and numerology and tarot and psychometry and the I Ching and meditation and chakras and a deep dive. And my development was very, very quick.
So I'm curious about a lot of things when it comes to you, but one of them is, how careful are you, how much do you think about when you are in fact reading someone to not, quote, violate, I'm going back to how you describe your own experience, to not violate their sense?
I am very aware that there are energetic rules that universally should be applied to this. Like, right now we're in this Me Too movement, right? And it's about consent. Well, I kind of feel the same way energetically, and it's a universal Me Too. It's like you should never enter someone's vibration without their permission. So if someone's coming to me for reading, if I'm doing a reading for somebody, that's different because now I'm sitting there. And even then, if I'm going to get into something that's going to be personal, like last night I did an event in Staten Island, there were a number of things that came through during this event. People are there, they bought a ticket, they want the information. I'm still very aware that I'm going to deliver something that's going to be private and personal in front of a crowd of people. So I'll say to them, may I be personal? Then I give them the information in a way that they're going to understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So I might look like I'm being general to everybody else, but they know exactly what I'm talking about.
John, let's do this. Gina, set this up. There's a clip of John where? Do you know where it is?
This was at an online members-only event from Long Island.
Let's check it out. It's John Edward.
I don't know if this is your father, but I have like a father who's here. Okay, were you hoping to hear from Dad today? Now, did you give Dad the strictest of orders that he had to come through?
I did.
Okay. You were trying to figure out, like, I wish I would have said this, I wish I would have done that, but you did it after he passed.
I did.
He's now telling me that you guys had this.
Oh, Daddy. Oh.
What's that like for you to see, to watch, to listen to?
So the God's honest truth is when I watch that, because I've seen that before, is I look at that and you're going to think this is completely crazy. I'm like, wow, I'm 10 pounds lighter there. That's the first thing that's the first thing that I think about when I see something.
What's the second thing?
The second thing is this woman is actually really getting the message, and she's being moved, and she acknowledged her father directly. And part of my message has always been, for all the years of doing this, to say to people, you don't need me. Like, if I could just demonstrate for people that this exists and they can have that own conversation. We live in a world where people text constantly. Text. They shorten their words, they use emojis, they text constantly. Well, why not follow that symbolic form of communication with somebody who's crossed? Why not project out to them what your thoughts are? A lot of people wait for it to happen to them instead of being half that bridge.
How do you deal with the numerous skeptics, critics, cynics, say...
I respect them. I
respect them?
I respect them. And the reason why I respect them is I feel like if I want that back, I have to give that. So I never attack the critics. I never attack the cynics. I never attack the skeptics. I never attack them. And I think part of it is because I came from that place. I came from that, so I kind of understand. So if someone's coming from a place of being ignorant to understanding something, I can't attack the ignorance. I just would prefer not the personal attacks. But, it goes with the territory. So
Sure does.
I suck it up.
Before I let you go, Evolve is?
Evolve was my passion project. So when I left television, I decided I wanted to do this online and be accessible immediately internationally because I wanted to actually teach more. So if I was doing a TV show, it might air here in the States, but then it's going to be syndicated later on. If there's something timely, there's something like an eclipse is happening, astrological, and I want to have an astrologer on to talk about it and what does that mean for a person and choices and decisions to empower, that happens immediately online. So I created Evolve, which is on johnedward.net. It's kind of an online community. So I kind of pioneered the subject matter on TV, and now I'm trying to pioneer it online.
Listen, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Stay with us. We'll be right back right after this.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. This special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato is brought to you from the Tisch WNET studios at Lincoln Center. Funding has been provided by the Turl Fund, supporting Right from the Start NJ. The Nicholson Foundation, supporting Right from the Start NJ. Hackensack Meridian Health, Seton Hall University, New Jersey Sharing Network, Kessler Foundation, and by Suez. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.